So thank you to all of you guys that commented on my video last week where we did this really fun mental exercise for preparing yourself for success in sync licensing. If you didn't do this, I'll post a link below in this description box. But we had a lot of comments, a lot of really awesome comments. So basically the exercise was to imagine yourself in the future, looking back to where you are right now today, and give yourself a pep talk, give yourself some advice, give yourself something, say something to yourself, write something to yourself that would really help you out in your journey, that would really give you some motivation. Now, the actual point of all of that was actually not what you guys wrote, which I'm glad you guys did that though. This is a really cool thing, and maybe you guys will come back here and look at what you wrote in months or years down the line and see if this really actually did help you. But actually, the little trick that I played is to actually have you guys think about yourselves succeeding in the future. So that was actually the main point of what I did here with this video. The reason being, I think a lot of us do not have very helpful and positive, productive stories in our minds for what we're doing in our lives. I think, and I'm not saying this because I've had it figured out my entire life. I'm saying this because most of my life, I didn't have this figured out. And I'm just now at 36 starting to learn all this kind of stuff. So when we have a goal, especially when we come down to wanting to do sync licensing as a serious job, a serious income, if we don't have a clear, definite end point of where we're going to be at the end of our journey, or at least 5 years into our journey, 10 years into our journey, and we just sort of start going, it's like basically setting out on the ocean and not really having a destination. You could wind up anywhere, and the winds are going to be blowing you in multiple directions, and you're going to get distracted, and you're going to see weird things coming out of the ocean, and you're going to get hungry, and you're going to get fearful, and like, oh my gosh, did we bring enough supplies? And then at some point you'll be in the middle of the ocean and realize, wait a minute, I don't even know where I'm going or what my destination is, or if I'm not really even determined if I'm going to get there. And then a minute and a moment of panic will set in, and you'll feel like, oh my gosh, like this was all a complete waste of time. I need to turn tail and get out of here and bail and go back home, right? That is basically the equivalent of starting a journey, starting a process, doing anything in life without having this clear, definite vision of what success means for you, okay? So for each one of you guys that came and commented on this video, I hope that just going through this really simple 5-minute exercise really gave you some clear, definite vision of yourself as a successful sync licensing producer, right? Imagining that you're getting partnered with some great libraries, you're seeing those royalties come in, you're getting sync fees, consideration fees, and you're doing this full time, right? I'm imagining most of you guys that commented here, that was probably close to whatever your goal was, right? So I hope that sort of like gave you a clear vision of what that could be like. And what I want to encourage you with this video is to come back to this pretty much all the time, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Visualize, especially when things are feeling good. I'd say when things are not feeling good and you're kind of getting bummed out and you're not feeling really good about your career, or you're getting some disappointing news, or you get rejected, or whatever's happening in your life, that's the hardest time to kind of visualize yourself to be, being successful. That's when you're kind of feeling like you just took a gut punch and you're down. And so having a really positive state of mind, it's not the easiest thing to just pull out and kind of change your mind on. Sometimes you have to kind of just live in this moment of being a little bit frustrated, right? So what I would say is, right now, if you feel good, you feel motivated, you feel confident, spend a lot of time visualizing your future self, your future place, being successful, partnering with great libraries, producing this, awesome music that you do on a daily basis, consistently cranking out awesome music, seeing your royalties grow, seeing your catalog grow, seeing that list of TV shows that you have your music in growing by the quarter, right? And spend as much time in that mental place, that emotional place, as you possibly can. What that's going to do is, I do believe this, and I don't think I could prove it though, is it's going to start to open you up to more success in your future, because now you're essentially kind of expecting that that's going to be where you're going. It's almost like you typed in the coordinates in a GPS, or you got on your ship and you know exactly, you've done the calculations on which trajectory and which winds you need to take to get to your destination. That's what we're basically doing when we hold these really positive, clear, very clear images in our head. It gives us a definiteness of purpose, of what we're doing here, why we're doing it. And so when you do get those days when you're depressed and feeling like you just want to give up and this is a whole big waste of time and it's awful and blah, 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 blah. All those negative thoughts that we all deal with from time to time. Those can be days, hopefully, where you just sort of rest on the knowledge that maybe you don't feel positive and motivated, but you know that there is a definite purpose behind what you're doing. And that this is just a day where the winds weren't at your back. They just weren't going through your sails and you weren't really moving forward. This is just kind of a day where you're stagnant, kind of out at sea. But that doesn't mean that you bail, right? It doesn't mean that you give up. It doesn't mean that you question, am I even on the right path? Am I going towards the right place? If you spend enough time knowing and being confident that you have a destination, these moments of not feeling so empowered and encouraged won't completely knock you off course. They'll just sort of not feel great. I'm not going to say they're always going to feel awesome. They're still going to just suck. I mean, it just sucks to have, disappointment and feelings of, I'm not moving as fast as I want to, right? We all have dealt with that. But at least it won't like completely knock you off, and you'll actually be able to get back up and stay motivated and get back into that productive, positive state of mind. So that was what that video was all about. I hope this really rings true for a lot of you guys, and I hope most importantly that this is something that you guys can start to practice over and over again. This is the kind of stuff that I talk about in that Sync Psych series within Sync Academy. Your mental state and the patterns of thinking that you're participating in, and just literally how you're viewing yourself and viewing your career, it is literally more important than a DAW that you use. It's more important than the music you produce, I think. I think it's more important than your musical ideas. It's more important than your mixing skills, your mastering skills. It's more important than the genre, the music that you produce. This is the kind of stuff that if you don't get this stuff right, all of the other technical knowledge and all the other skills that you have to succeed, worthless. What you could have the best tracks, you could have all the technical knowledge, you could have all the equipment you need in the world, but if you are just not really sure if you're going to succeed and you're just halfway into this business and you're kind of lukewarm about it, and when you get disappointing things that come into your mailbox or you get rejected, you quit for a couple of months because you're just so your ego is so bummed out that you just can't even move forward and make more music, or you go 100% at this for 6 months and then realize, oh my gosh, I don't have full-time income yet, I gotta bail, right? Well, and you just leave. Well, that 6 months didn't really serve you that well because you just left in the end, right? So this is why your mental state is so important, why I want to spend a lot more time on this channel definitely talking about this kind of stuff. So anyways, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave your comments below, especially if you commented on that last video. I'd like to know, did you notice that? Was that kind of a difference for you? Had you ever pictured yourself being that successful and spending just a couple of moments in that state of mind, imagining yourself there? I hope that was something that was really useful for you all.